With all the success people have had using the LOA, it still surprises me that so many people think it's all baloney. But after talking to people about it, I have come to understand why that is. The biggest problems with the law of attraction not working for people are due to these three things. 1. Most people don't actually believe with all of their heart and soul the law of attraction to be true. Believing in it wholeheartedly is absolutely necessary for it to work. 2. People who do believe in it don't have a full understanding of how it works. There are specific things that play a very large role in how it works. What's more than that, people may know what these things are, but are not grasping the concept of how to properly use them. 3. The people that do completely believe in the LOA simply don't know how to see or recognize the answers to their requests or questions when those answers are shown to them. Not recognizing the answers the universe puts in front of you prevents the actions we must take to attaining our goal. Most people who have tried the law of attraction think of only the basic steps: asking, believing, visualizing, and receiving. Then when they try these simple steps, of course it doesn't work. Doing it this way, people usually only see some small results. They might notice more coincidences than usual, or they seem to get a bit closer to their goals. However, because they did not follow all of the instructions in their most specific forms, these people never fully received what they wanted. I know that so many people truly want to believe, and some honestly think that they do believe in the law of attraction, but in reality, they don't. Maybe they want to believe in it because they have seen the law of attraction work for others, or maybe they are just open-minded people. Maybe some of these people have even seen it work for them, themselves, but they chalked it up to coincidence when their larger dreams didn't manifest. But subconsciously, somewhere in their hearts, they have their doubts. As long as those doubts remain, it won't matter how much someone wants to truly believe in the law of attraction. It will simply never work out for them this way. And then there are the people like my husband who think that wishing and hoping is the same as believing. My husband always says that he believes that the LOA works. Unfortunately, along with those words, there is always a contradiction with the statement. For instance, my husband complains a lot about not being able to save money and about his long commute to work. When he complains about money, I remind him of the law of attraction and point out to him that the complaining he is doing is only causing more money-saving problems for him. Overall, my husband is a happy person despite his commute and money-saving issues. He is a joy to be around, and he really knows how to make people laugh. The kids love him to death, and he gives them all the attention they need when he gets home. It's just a few certain things that bother him, but when they do, he dwells on them. Dwelling on a problem is the absolute worst thing you can do. When my husband pays the bills, he actually allows his stomach to get upset over it. It's true, he tells me so. There is no reason that anyone should allow himself to feel this way about anything. Always remember, the more emotion you put into a thought, the faster that thought comes true. This includes all the things you are unhappy or nervous about. What's more, if it's already true, the situation will just get worse. It's not fun paying bills, I know, but always try to do your best not to dwell or allow yourself to get upset about it. You will have to pay the bill anyway, so really there's no point in getting upset over it. It's not going to change your circumstances. If you feel yourself getting upset over it, just start thinking about how thankful for the service or item you received that you are paying the bill for. If you are paying an extra large electricity bill and you begin feeling angry that the bill is so high, try and think to yourself, well, at least we have electricity. I am thankful that we at least have that. And if you have the money to pay that bill, think to yourself, I sure am thankful that I can pay this bill so that we can keep enjoying the electricity that we have. I have also heard of people writing the words, "Thank you for services rendered," or whatever the service was provided. They write it on the bill, put it in the envelope with the check, and send it off. There is a psychology to this, which we will get to a bit later when we discuss gratitude. I will be the first person to agree that my husband has a hard life. He has to commute, sometimes 4 hours of driving a day, then he works 8 to 10 hours of hard physical labor. When he comes home every night from another long drive, he walks into a house with 3 kids who desperately need his attention. All the poor guy wants to do is fall asleep on the couch. Yes, his life is very difficult, but it doesn't have to be that way. I try and tell him that we can move closer to his work. It is absolutely possible. He has better credit than anyone I have ever met, and we own our home. There are definitely ways to do it. But all he keeps saying is, "We can't move closer. It's impossible. I don't want to have a larger mortgage. I don't have this, I don't have that, blah, blah, blah." I have come up with several plans on how we can move closer. But of course, my husband will always come up with something wrong with the plan. Instead of saying, "I don't have the money," he should be saying, "When we have the money, we'll move and it will be great." If you think you can, or if you think you can't, either way, you are right. This was quoted by Henry Ford. Now, I love my husband. He is the best man I know. He has a great job, he brings in great money, and he works harder than anyone I know. But if he really wants to be promoted, then he needs to stop saying that he never will be. If he wants to move closer to work, then he needs to start saying that it will happen in due time. It is only when he begins to focus on these positive outcomes that these things will begin to go his way. Sometimes when my husband comes to me, he says, "Boy, you sure have a great life, don't you?" He says this in a joking manner, of course. I just put up my feet, smile, and say to him, "Why, yes, I do." When using the law of attraction, you must find the bright side to every given situation. And yes, there is a bright side to every given situation. As I said, my husband hates his commute. I tell him that he should get some audiobooks or listen to the radio. Do you know what he listens to when driving home? He listens to talk shows about money and the economy. It's no wonder he hates his commute so much. I try and tell him to focus on the fact that at least he has some downtime before he gets home to us. He should try and think of it as his break before he gets home and has to work again. Always looking on the bright side takes practice and training and repetition, but it's a very doable thing. Many people are hard workers and have high goals and aspirations. Some people have big hopes and dreams and are wishful thinkers. These are great qualities to have, but it's not what true believing really is. Hoping and wishing is not what the law of attraction is about. In fact, it's quite the opposite. When using the LOA correctly, you cannot hope for something to happen. You have to know that it's going to happen. Holding on to dreams is an absolute must in order to bring them about into your life. But many people who hold on to their dreams also hold on to something else. They also hold on to all the reasons their dreams won't come true. What I mean by this is that they dream, but they also constantly keep in mind that it hasn't happened yet, and also all the reasons it hasn't happened yet. Many of these people have the idea in their head that simply having high hopes and desires is using the law of attraction. Right there, they are missing the whole point. It is never a bad thing to be a wishful thinker, but that is not going to bring you closer to your goals. Wishing and knowing are two different things. Another thing that will for sure hold you back from achieving your goals is pessimism. If you are living your life by Murphy's Law, everything that can go wrong will go wrong, then guess what? By default, that is exactly what is going to happen for you. Pessimism and the LOA are on two opposite ends of the field. Try and remove any pessimism from your life. You will be amazed at the results you will see just by applying this one simple gesture. It is impossible to be pessimistic and believe in the law of attraction at the same time. Believing is the key to everything in life. If you want to become a successful at anything, then you must absolutely believe and know for a fact that you will achieve it. Everything that we know will happen for a fact will happen for a fact. You may be someone who really wants to believe in the law of attraction, but still have your doubts. You may find that there are moments that you really do honestly believe in it, and then there are moments that you don't. If you really want to believe in the LOA, then use the LOA to help you to believe and remove your doubts. Take those small moments that you do believe and run with them. During those moments that you find yourself believing in it, get excited about it, and thank the universe for helping you to believe in the law of attraction at that moment. Everyone has doubts every now and then. Not necessarily about whether the law of attraction works or not, but sometimes even when knowing that it works, we can still have doubts about whether we can make our dreams come true. This is natural, especially if you are just beginning to use the law of attraction. Use the law of attraction to help you to believe in it and your dreams to a greater extent. When you find yourself in a moment of full faith, be thankful for that moment and then ask the universe to help you to believe in it in this way more often. You will find yourself slowly beginning to have more and more faith in it as time goes on. And the more faith you have in it, the better it works in fulfilling your dreams. Only do this during the moments that you find yourself truly believing in it. Don't do it during moments that you are feeling in doubt. You can't trick the universe. If you try and thank the universe for helping you have more faith in the LOA during a moment that you are actually doubting it, those doubts will shine brighter than the northern star, and in return, you will keep feeling more doubt. E equals seed. What does EM seed mean? Through science, most of us know that this entire universe is made up of energy. It is one big ball of endless energy. Albert Einstein came up with the relativity equation of E equals mc². E is energy, m is mass, and c is the speed of light. The two simply means that the speed of light is squared. Simply put, energy turns into mass. Scientists have now proven that even our thoughts and emotions are energy too. Again, what does energy turn into? Mass. What is mass? Mass is things. So how does this energy, our thoughts, turn into reality? The Earth's atmosphere may only be so big, but God has given us so much more than just the Earth's atmosphere. He has given us endless amounts of space that goes on for eternity. This space is an endless supply of possibilities. Let's clarify that a bit. When we look into outer space, we see the planets, the moon, the sun, and the stars. Yes, there is more out there, but let's keep this simple. What do we see in between all of those things? We see nothing, just empty black space. But that nothing is actually something. Every single bit of this blackness that we see out there is actually filled with vibrating probability waves or ether. This ether is where every single thing in this universe starts out into physical form. These waves are energy, just like everything else that we can see and touch, and everything that we cannot see and touch, like thought, sound, and feelings. For these things that we cannot see and touch are energy too. We call these vibrating waves probability waves, because they start out as energy that is probable to turn into anything we decide them to be, but will not become something until a thought is sent out into the universe to get it started. The very moment you have a thought is the exact moment in which that thought becomes something. The second your thought is sent out into the ether, it becomes a tiny particle in space. This is the very beginning of your thought being created into reality. Once your thought hits the ether, it becomes an actual physical and touchable reality. When the object of your thought has been created into this tiny form, it's up to you to move closer to it, and as you do, it continues to grow into its fullest form of your desire. Keep in mind that it's not only things that work in this way. Situations and circumstances are energy too. Basically, every single thing that happens is made up of energy, whether visible or not. If you have a certain something that you would like to happen in your life other than acquiring monetary objects or people, the law of attraction will work for that as well. For instance, finding your soulmate, learning to speed read, or getting better at a certain talent or sport. Okay, so that's great and all. All I do is think of something I want, and then it exists. Good, great, grand. But how do I actually get it? Or how do I actually make it happen? In order to attract what you want, you must get your own energy vibrating on the same level as the vibration of what it is you desire. I've been talking about thoughts. Just like your thoughts are what create that tiny little particle of your objects of affection in the first place, it is also our thoughts that get our energy vibrating on the same level of that object, bringing us closer to it. Unfortunately, though, it's not quite so simple. In order for your thought to actually be sent out into the universe, the thought must come from your subconscious mind. We all have a conscious and a subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is what you use to do everyday things. It can tell time, read books, do math, and make everyday decisions. Your subconscious mind is where you hold your long-term memories and feelings. It cannot tell time. It is not what you are thinking, but what you are feeling. Your subconscious mind is basically what you feel in your heart. You must get your subconscious mind or your heart to work with your conscious mind in order to send the thoughts you want out into the universe. You do that through visualization, and we will get to that shortly. Do you pray? If your answer is no, then I'm here to tell you're wrong. We all pray whether we realize it or not. Every single thought you have is a prayer. Whether the thought is something you want or something you don't want, your thoughts are prayers that are being sent out into the universe, constantly. Our thoughts never stop, not even at night when we're dreaming. Even when you feel like you're in some kind of a daze, you are still thinking. Our minds just keep going and going and going, like the Energizer Bunny. As long as our thoughts are going, we are praying. There are a few very important details to this part of the law of attraction that you must fully understand. First of all, the universe cannot differentiate the difference from a good thought or a bad thought. It doesn't understand whether your thought is something you want or something you don't want. Because of this, using the words, I want or I don't want, are pointless. If you are thinking, I don't want to lose my job, the universe doesn't hear the I don't want part of the statement. All it is hearing is the losing your job part. Another thing is, the universe doesn't have ears. You need to understand that anything you say out loud will not be heard. If for a whole year you keep saying out loud, I want my boss to give me a raise this year, but in your head you keep thinking, I'm not going to get a raise this year, guess what? You're not going to get that raise. God didn't hear a word you said, but He heard everything you thought. Ask and you shall receive. Recognize what it is you're truly thinking and feeling. Be fully aware that with every thought you have, it is actually you asking for something from the universe, and know that your prayers are being heard every moment of your life. The universe wants to give you what you want, so make it clear and ask for only positive things by focusing on only those positive things. In other words, be careful of what you wish for. Once you have put a positive thought or energy out into the world and the creation of it has begun, how do you actually get it? Acquiring what you want depends on these things. Asking for what you want. Your thoughts and emotions. Your gratitude for all that you have now and for all the things you're going to have. Believing, having full faith that you will have what you desire. Your visualization sessions. Following your intuition, taking action, letting it go. Detach yourself from what you want. We will be going over all of these things in the coming chapters. You'll need to understand them well in order to get yourself closer to your goals. But before we get into the specifics on this list, you should first take a good look at what it is you are asking for and make sure it is your true heart's desire. This means that what you ask for must be something that you are willing to do almost anything to get, because that is how bad you want it. How do you know if something is your true heart's desire or not? If you can make up excuses or reasons for why you might not get it, that's a sign that you don't want it bad enough. That is not a true heart's desire. A true heart's desire has no excuses. We will get it, and we know that we will get it no matter what it takes. A true heart's desire is something you want with your body and mind, but it's also something you desire with your soul. Have you ever wanted something so bad that you just knew in your heart, without a shadow of a doubt, that you would make it happen? That is how you must feel about writing as a career. That's how I felt when I first decided to self-publish my first book. I was so excited about it that I wrote my second, third, and fourth book before the illustrations to the first one were even finished. Not everyone shared my enthusiasm. I was spending a lot of money on the illustrations for my first book, and my husband was nervous about it. I kept telling him that I just knew this was supposed to happen for me. I knew it in my gut that my books were going to do well and that I was doing all the right things to make that happen. I felt this with all of my heart, and nothing was going to stop me. Now, try and stay with me. The next few sections are a bit tricky. Listen to them again if you need to. Some of you might be thinking, but Jenny, maybe your subconscious mind only knew your books would do well because your destiny was preordained for it to go that way. Maybe you automatically knew it because your subconscious mind was merely telling you what was going to happen anyway. You are right about one thing. It was my subconscious mind that put those positive thoughts there. However, it wasn't because my books were destined to well. Just like everything else in life, the success of my books could have gone either way. Even now, they still can. You see, I don't have any preordained destiny of what is supposed to automatically happen to me, and neither do you. We all create our own destiny in our lives as we go along. I didn't know my books were going to do well just because it was already in the cards for me. It was the other way around. I had to first believe in the success of my books before the destiny of it was created. So, why did I feel so strongly that my books would be successful to begin with? How and why did I just know that my books would be successful? I knew because it was my true heart's desire for them to be successful. When something is a true heart's desire, we subconsciously know that we will do whatever it takes to make it happen. Because the success of my books was my true heart's desire, my subconscious mind already knew that I would accept nothing less, and so it continuously gave me the feeling of absolute certainty that it would happen. I was right. My books did do well. They did very well because I wanted it wholeheartedly, and therefore, subconsciously, I knew it would happen. I wanted it enough that I wasn't going to allow anything to stand in my way. This is how you must feel about all the goals you set for yourself. Get yourself on that level. Successful people have passion for what they want. With passion come the perseverance, persistence, determination, drive, motivation, and inspiration to get what one wants. When you have passion for something, then it is a true heart's desire. It's only things you feel this strongly about that you should focus on making happen. If you ask for something you don't feel this way about, then you could be wasting your time and energy. If this is the case, you might be better off putting your energy into something you really do want. But there is one more thing I would like to be understood. I have made it clear I don't personally believe in any preordained plan for us. However, I do believe we have a purpose, and that is much different than a plan. Every single thing that is put here on this planet has a purpose, a reason for having been created. I believe God gave us a purpose without a plan. Then he threw us down here onto his little board game of life, and now it's up to us to figure out what our purpose is and how to best fulfill it. The sooner you begin living for your purpose in life, the better. When you are living for your purpose, you will naturally become a happier individual. You will automatically begin living your life in line with the universe. You'll be in a much better position to send out the correct messages of what you want. Your vibrating frequency will be more gracefully in tune with the vibrating frequencies of the things you want, bringing them to you faster. Once you find your purpose, you will find that the energy surrounding you will become more harmonious. You will feel you, yourself, are also in better alignment with the universe and all the things you want. The universe is trying to bring you the things you want, and you are keeping your energies open to accept these gifts. Your life's purpose doesn't have to be difficult. Too many people stress themselves out, searching for something that sounds inspiring or poetic. Most of us have unrealistic expectations as to what we think our purpose should be. We as individuals aren't meant to fix the whole world on our own. Don't get me wrong, it's not completely impossible that your purpose might be that you are a superhero. But the chances of it are so unlikely it would go against your best interest to ignore all your other probable callings, just for the sake that you might need to save the world someday. Finding your real purpose is a lot easier than it sounds, and it could be extremely beneficial to you and your success. Here are a few things that might help you find your calling. When you are trying to figure out what your calling is, the first thing you need to do is throw everything you know about money or currency out the window. You need to try and pretend you don't even know what money is. The second thing you need to do is figure out what you're passionate about. Your passion and your purpose will go hand in hand. You will not be able to find your purpose until you know what you are passionate about. So how do you know what you're passionate about? Answer some of these questions. If you can't think of what you might be passionate about right now in your life, try looking back on when you were a kid. Your childhood is where you will find you had the most passion. If you can't think of something you were passionate about, try thinking of something you were good at. You might even try that with your current situation. Sometimes, if something is work, we'll claim to not enjoy it simply because it's work. Sometimes we're on autopilot and really don't give much thought to it at all. Just think of something you're good at and really analyze it. You may find that it's actually your passion disguised as work. What were some things you loved to do when you were a kid? If you could pick one service you could do for others instead of monetary payments for general living expenses, what would it be? Now you need to take your passions, the things that you love to do, and brainstorm. Really though, if you just ask God to tell you what your passion is, He will tell you. One important thing to remember is that most of the time, a true purpose is a type of service or help to others. Yet, you enjoy it so much, you can easily forget you are the one who is doing the servicing. To you, it feels as though it's the other way around. You are getting the much better end of the stick. When you follow your calling, it is always something that either pays you in some kind of currency, or you will be financially taken care of in some other way. God doesn't send us here to do for others and have no way of having our own basic needs met. If you have no way to eat and nowhere to sleep, then that is a sign you are heading down the wrong path. But really, that's the wonderful thing about following your calling in life. Usually, these are things most people don't ever have to deal with. The people who follow their calling are the ones who have fewer troubles, financially and emotionally. They are the ones who seem to be sailing through life without a care in the world. That's because that is exactly how they feel. Happy, without a care in the world. They still can.